Welcome back, and today we'll be reacting to Brewing 3,000-Year-Old Ancient Mesopotamian Beer by Max Miller, I believe, yes. And this is funny because I still remember reacting to another video that I showed the picture of like the final product to my dad, and he was like, I will not eat that. So it's interesting to see what changed from the former video. So without further ado, let's go, and no, you will not torture me. AI space instructor.
Beer, but perhaps none more so than the Assyrian king Ashur-nazirpal II, who once supplied 10,000 jars of the stuff for a 10-day feast for nearly 70,000 guests.
Oh yes!
And while he served plenty of basic...
I remember that. Well, I don't remember that. I mean, I remember hearing about it. Jesus Christ, I'm not that old.
Beer, he also had specialty brews like this bittersweet pomegranate beer known as Alap Anu. So thank you to Hungry Root for sponsoring this video as we drink like an Assyrian king, this time on Tasting History.
You lost me already? Well, listen, so you don't keep getting lost. Didn't know you were there.
The record of the banquet of Ashur-nazirpal II
Basically, it's from what I can gather, from what I know, is that there was this ruler who decided to throw a huge party for like 75,000 people or something like that. I don't know much.
Is one of the most detailed that we have from the ancient world, and it is probably...
There will be a recipe in this, don't worry. It's just tasting history.
The biggest that we know of. The stele, which catalogs the entire menu, mentions 10,000 measures of beer were served, plus an assortment of specialty mixed beers, and just as much wine was served as well.
Ooh.
Now, exactly what these specialty beers were is impossible to tell, but it is very likely that one of them was a bittersweet pomegranate beer known as Alap Anu. Now, several years ago, I made a beer based on an ancient Sumerian text called the Hymn to Ninkasi. And while that can inform how we would make this...
My dad didn't want to drink it because the yeast cake at the bottom was a bit everywhere in the picture I showed him.
This beer, it was actually written about 900 years before Ashur-nazirpal II.
Oh, so it's even older.
It can only get us partway there. Like, we know that certain things had changed. Like, while
Yeast
the Sumerians
extract.
drank their unfiltered beer through straws in communal jars, the Assyrians seemed to prefer their drink in goblets, which would imply that the beer was at least somewhat filtered, or at least it didn't have bits of barley bread still floating at the top. Now, most of what we know about beer making from this period actually comes from archaeology, and so, as I am not an archaeologist, I'm going to be leaning on the work of Tate Paulette in his fantastic book all about Mesopotamian beer. I'll put a link to that in the description. And I have to thank my friend,
I just realized.
Mesopotamian beer. I'll put a link.
Is that why he has clay pots everywhere? Does he change his background per video, or am I just hallucinating? I just realized that. Because we're talking about ancient stuff, and the background looks like the ingredients for the recipe and everything. So also, there's this random Pokemon there, which has absolutely nothing to... Ooh, nice. Whatever the name of that statue is, I can't remember. Pop Mart? I can't remember the name of it.
Link to that in the description. And I have
Really?
to
I never noticed that. I just noticed that. Like, how have I been watching him for 2 years or something, and I never noticed? I don't know. Yes, the historically accurate Pokemon, yeah.
My friend Arim, who is coming out with a book called Table of Gods.
Yes, I watched that person too.
Mesopotamian food. And
yes, they make shorts where they do a recipe and then they voice over stuff.
He gave me the idea to do this, as well as a lot of information about Alap Anu. So to make this
they're so dedicated that they actually want the paper to be more period accurate, so they hired someone to do it or something like that, I think.
Specific version,
for the book, that is.
Version of Assyrian Alap Anu, what you'll need is 2 3/4 cup or 450 grams of barley, and that is not pearled barley, but actual barley grains, because that's what we're going to use to make malted barley. You can also just buy malted barley. Then 2/3 cup or 120 grams of emmer wheat berries, 1 cup or 175 grams of pomegranate seeds.
How does pomegranate taste,
grams of emmer wheat berries, 1 cup or 175 grams of pomegranate seeds.
Oh wait, they're seeds, they're not, okay.
Seeds, 1.5 cups or 350 milliliters of pomegranate juice. And the word Alap Anu refers not only to this type of beer, but to the bittersweet taste of pomegranate seeds and the bittersweet taste that
I don't like bitter stuff. Like every time there's an IPA, it's always fucking so bitter. I'm like, eh. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
dates have. So I'm also adding 6 dates, then a half cup or 170 grams of honey, and 1 teaspoon of ale or wine yeast. Now, one of the big questions about beer making from this period is exactly how they introduced yeast into the beer. What is known is that they were no longer using bapir, which is beer bread, and that is
Okay, I heard also that the more they used it, the more that the yeast would make a colony and the more that it had success rates.
a quasi-dried bread that is dried in such a way where the yeast is likely still alive, and that's how they were making beer earlier than the Assyrians.
That looks like the bread I tried to make when I have a sudden inspiration to make flatbread and it fucks up everywhere.
And since we're adding yeast directly to it, we don't have to make any of the bapir.
Or I accidentally make hardtack or something because I bake it too long or I feel that it's not baked enough or whatever.
When I did make bapir for the Sumerian beer a couple years ago, it does take a while, so we do cut that out. But still, this recipe, especially if you're going to malt your own barley, is going to take about 2 weeks to make.
Yes, I think the last one he did took about a week, and it's funny because by the end, the crops that he was making the beer with were sprouting like they were sprouting, I think, or something like that. I can't remember exactly because I haven't watched it in years, but.
For a recipe that won't take you 2 weeks to make, might I suggest one of the quick and easy recipes
of course.
Sponsor, Hungry Root. Hungry Root makes meal planning so easy, and especially around this time of year, when everything is just so busy, it's very easy to rely on takeout, but with Hungry Root, they help you keep on your nutrition goals. Whether that's because you're...
That would be very useful for me when my parents go on voyage. But I don't know, it's probably too expensive.
Watching your calorie intake, or you're trying to get more protein, or if you are vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free, they got you covered. With their collection of over 50,000 recipes, they will curate a meal plan for you, then they do the grocery shopping and deliver it all to your doorstep.
No, but we still need to cook.
Because they are quick to prepare, many taking only 15 minutes or less.
Oh, okay.
Like this rigatoni alla vodka with chicken sausage. A perfect winter...
Chicken sausage? Oh, right, Huel. Oh, talking about Huel. Yes, last night I was watching, going to camping with high-tech gear, and they had all this high-tech stuff, and part of the food was this Huel protein chocolate drink, and apparently it was the most horrible thing that they were having. But apparently the instant meal that Huel had was good, but not the protein drink. They also had a mech, like an actual mech for like 1,200 euros or something. Apparently it was very good. They also had this inflatable tent, solar-powered charging stations, a small projector, stuff like that. Like very... Because they were like, hey, everybody goes camping with shitty stuff. How about we make it all high-tech instead? Which I found interesting.
Meal. And right now, for a limited time, you'll get 40% off of your first box, plus a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com.
Define item.
Use my code tastinghistory to get 40%.
Because I don't care about getting free, like, I don't know, free Pokemon figures or something for life.
And off of your first order, plus a free item in every box for the life of your subscription. And now, let's make some beer. So first, we're going to start by malting our barley. And
I never managed to make beer, but I did manage to somewhat make cheese once. The only problem is that I didn't realize that without the milk and power blending bottle. Oh yeah, that was probably why, because they just like put like, I think it was just water and powder and they mixed it with like a spoon or something. So yeah, I don't know if that had something to do with it. I did manage. I was talking about making cheese. I tried making cheese once at home, but the problem is that our milk, as much as most of the developed world, is pasteurized, which made a pinky-sized amount of cheese out of like what, a liter or something, which was kind of shitty. But I do wonder how we make cheese in Canada with pasteurized milk. Like how would you? I mean, I guess you have to be licensed and everything, but still, how can someone at home do it?
That you soak
If
the
at all.
barley in water overnight. About 12 hours is best. Then drain off any excess liquid and you can prepare it.
Shaking with the agitator. The heck is an agitator? Is it like a small, like, the thing you like use to make soups? Blender ball. Blender ball? What? Wait, hang on. Blender ball, blender ball, blender ball. Whoops. Blender ball. Is that what I think it is? That is not what I think it is. Okay. First time I see this, what the heck is this? Huh. What the? Is it like you put it in the bottle and then you mix it and then it mixes it? It's like a whisk inside? Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Didn't know it was a thing though. A whisk ball. Interesting. Okay. Okay.
To sprout. About 12 hours is best. And to do that, you soak the barley in water overnight. About 12 hours is best. Then drain off any excess liquid and you can prepare it to sprout. And essentially what this is, what you need to do rather, is keep it moist, but also keep it so it's not pressed against anything because it can get moldy and you don't want that. So what I've found is one of the easiest
according to Twitter, VTubers are experts at eating mold.
ways to do this is to set out a cooling rack on a tray and then put down
yes, it was a rack like that I tried making cheese with. But yeah.
Layer of cheesecloth.
The
Then
cloth,
spread
I
the
mean.
barley on the cheesecloth and set another layer of cheesecloth on top of that. The idea is to keep air moving throughout the barley, so it needs to be lifted up off of the tray. Then a couple times a day...
Yeah, I guess so. There's also Krelly too. Apparently she got a moldy model. Or a mold mom model, or something like that.
You want to spritz it down with lifted up off of the tray. Then a couple times a day, you want to spritz it down with some water, just so it doesn't all dry out. And after about 3 days, you will start to see...
I wonder how they did do that, like in the day, because obviously back in the day they didn't have like a squish bottle or thing.
Sprouts coming up from the barley, and at that point, when you lift the barley off...
I don't know if this is cute or horrifying.
The cheesecloth, you should see lots of sprouts, and that is exactly what you want. So pull the sprouted barley off of the cloth and lay it out on a tray, and then set the tray in the oven at the lowest temperature possible, around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, no more, and let it slowly dry.
Oh no, we're
for
killing
about
seeds.
4 hours. Now once it's dry,
For how much?
more, and let it slowly dry out for about 4 hours. Now once it's dry, you're going to crush this up into a powder. Ideally, you're going to do this in a huge
Yes, I think my dad got one for Christmas. Not me though.
mortar, but a food processor or blender will work in a pinch. And if you have purchased your malted barley, then this is where your recipe starts. Once the barley is crushed, do the same with the emmer wheat berries, and then heat 5 quarts.
Berries?
The barley is crushed, do the same with the emmer wheat berries, and then heat 5 quarts.
Wait, there's berries in that? I didn't see
Once
any
the barley
berry
is crushed, do the same with the emmer wheat berries.
Well, whatever.
And then heat 5
Fuel is not an easy recommendation. What do you mean?
quarts or liters of water to 150 degrees Fahrenheit or about 65 degrees Celsius. Then add the barley and the wheat and let it infuse for 1 hour. And you want to keep an eye on the temperature. You can heat it a little bit warmer or let it cool a little bit, but you want to try to stay within 5 to 10 degrees of 100.
Oh? Wait, hang on. Look at the historical sprayer crop duster. Huh? Wait, what? Huh? Okay, this is not what I thought it was, but I don't think they had that in 3000 BC. That's relatively... when was that? 1914. Okay, but I meant like a modern squish bottle, like a Windex, for example, that you use to wash your table or something.
150. Then once it has steeped for an hour, pour it into another pot, straining out a good amount of the wheat and the barley. To that, you add another quart or liter of water, Then once it has steeped for an hour, pour it into, stay within 5 to 10 degrees of 150. Then once it has steeped for an hour, pour it into another pot, straining out a good amount.
First, mechanical machines were, I mean, it depends on your definition of mechanical, though, I think. Like, sewing wheel could be mechanical, and that goes back a long time, or a pottery wheel, too. Bottles mush, I guess you could say that baskets and pottery were like the predecessors of bottles, too, yeah. Although I think the Romans had like some sort of water hose made out of intestines or something like that. I will say that I made a few variations for huel powders depending on... Ooh, okay. Why do you use huel, by the way, Arieto?
Of the wheat and the barley. To that, you add another quart.
Wait, hang on, I keep getting distracted.
Heat it a little bit warmer, or let it cool a little bit, but you want to try to stay within 5 to 10 degrees of 150. Then once it has steeped for an hour, pour it into another pot, straining out a good amount of the wheat and the barley. To that, you add another quart or liter of water, along with the dates and the pomegranate seeds, and stir everything together, and then let it slowly heat to a boil, and let it boil for 1 full hour. Now, since we're just adding things right into the liquid, this is going to end up being pretty murky as a beer. More modern recipes will have you take everything and put it into like mesh bags.
What? Yeah, Google is sometimes like that. It's like, here's most of the stuff you recommended, but here's this random picture that has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
More modern recipes will have...
Okay, I see. Interesting. I once tried smoothies for breakfast, but I kept going hungry, so I was like, eh. But maybe I just need more yogurt in it or something. I don't know.
Boil for 1 full hour. Now, since we're just adding things right into the liquid, this is going to end up being pretty murky as a beer. More modern recipes will have you take everything and put it into like mesh bags and suspend it in the wort, and so it'll be a little bit clearer, but we're not...
That reminds me, I once drank some German wheat beer, and the first thing I noticed was that it was murkier than, like, Molson Canadian, for example. With enough fiber and protein to not keep you hungry. I guess so, but the thing is that I'm allergic to nuts and stuff. But, although I could potentially eat some almonds, salted almonds. Yeah, I'm also always hungry. Our metabolism is just really ridiculously fast. I'm also always hungry, except when I eat like a fuck ton of pasta or something.
Not doing that, but we're also not like taking the barley bread, the bapir, and just...
Which is probably why I'm a literal stick. I'm very skinny at like 50 kilograms with 5'7", I think.
It in and leaving absolutely everything in, and that's what the Sumerians did. So this is
yeah, it's something like that. It's something like that that I showed my dad on Google Images, so he was like, I'm not sure I would drink that.
Absolutely everything in, and that's what the Sumerians did. So this is kind of in the middle of that. Now, once the water has boiled for an hour, remove it from the heat and add in the pomegranate juice and the honey and let it cool completely. Then once it is cooled, it is ready to add the yeast and ferment. Now, you could transfer this to a huge earthen jar like the Assyrians would have had, but then you can't actually see it fermenting, so that's no fun. So instead, I am transferring it to a clear glass jar before adding the yeast and letting it dissolve. Then back in the day, they would just cover the top with straw as it fermented, which you can absolutely do. Not the most hygienic way.
I can imagine, yeah. In the case of the anime convention trips, you don't break fuel, blah, blah, blah. Huh. Okay, I see. Interesting.
To do this, but it is a short-lived beer, so not the worst either.
If you do put straw, just make sure it's not full of poop or something, I guess.
Hygienic way to do this, but it is a short-lived beer, so not the worst either. But if you don't want things to get into the beer, I think the best thing to do is to use a lid with an airlock, and that's what I'm using. Then leave it in a cool, dark place to ferment for 7 to 10 days, and you'll know that it's working when you see foam on the top and little bubbles coming up from the depths. Now, while this beer was definitely known to the Assyrians, it was actually known in Mesopotamia much earlier than that. In fact, it was produced by exclusively female brewers at the palace of Mari under King Zimri Lim. That's the palace and the king that I discussed in the video on the baked good Mersu. But it is another palace and another great ruler under King Zimri Lim. That's the palace and the king that I discussed in the video on the baked good Mersu. But
why only female? No clue. I know that back then it was like the female that did the brewing, but that's about it. Due to the electric battery power, blah blah blah. Okay.
Is another palace and another great ruler that I'll be talking about today, because Ashur-nazirpal II's great feast was actually to celebrate the opening of his new grand palace at Kalu.
Yay!
Ashur-nazirpal II was the third king of what would become known as the Neo-Assyrian Empire, a period which would see the empire expand to new heights and give the world a model of what an empire could be for centuries to come. A later king, the similarly named Ashurbanipal, would accomplish this through learning and culture, building one of the greatest libraries of the ancient world. But Ashur-nazirpal did not have the luxury of library building. No, his claim to fame would be the brutal, ruthless, and relentless conquest of his enemies and the subjugation of his own people. But the man really knew how to throw a party. By the time he came to power in 883 BC, the Assyrian Empire had gone through a series of ups and downs, one of those downs being the Bronze Age collapse, which destroyed many of the empires of ancient Mesopotamia. But the memory of what had once been loomed large in the mind of the Assyrians, and especially Ashur-nazirpal, so his goal was to restore the empire to its glory days. And he started by putting down rebellions in cities like Suru, which were supposed to be clients to the Assyrian king. And he put down these rebellions with ferocity. Like in the city of Tela, their men, young and old, I took prisoner. From some I cut off their feet and hands. From others I cut off their noses, ears, and lips.
Oh no!
Of the young men's ears I made a heap. Of the old men's heads I made a tower. I exposed their heads as a trophy in front of their city. The children, boys and girls, I burned in the flames. The city I destroyed, burned,
it's so casual.
Consumed with fire. Not
the way they describe it. Within a powder, blah blah blah. It's too thick. Okay, interesting.
Not a nice guy, it turns out.
Not a nice guy, no shit, Sherlock.
And consumed with fire. Not a nice guy, it turns out. Now, he soon realized that destroying all of these cities would kind of dry up the revenue from their taxes and their tribute, so instead he started just punishing them and then kicking out their leaders and installing his own people, kind of taking over governance and truly building an empire as we would think of it today. And while some cities, like Tela, he did raze to the ground, there were other cities, like Tushan, which had pretty much been abandoned, which he decided to bring back to life. I took Tushan in hand for renovation. I founded a palace for my royal residence inside. I took over this city for myself and stored therein barley and straw from the land Nirbu. I resettled the people of Nirbu in their abandoned cities and houses and imposed upon their cities more tribute and tax and more.
Well, I guess that goes. Well, at least that's better than killing everyone.
4. Again, not really a very nice guy. So after he had consolidated all of his power in the lands that were once Assyrian, he decided to keep going and marched through Lebanon all the way to the Mediterranean, where his soldiers washed their weapons in the sea, and then he waited for all of the local rulers to come and give him tribute. They brought everything from gold and silver.
Wait, they actually came?
Copper, linens, ebony, ivory, and even a collection of monkeys' bones.
Sometimes ancient drawings are a bit funny. Like, my first thought was that this was a dog.
Large and small. This was their tribute I received, and they embraced my feet. Eventually, he decided enough is enough, at least for now, and instead of worrying about these other places, he's going to focus on his capital, Ashur. an ancient city and home to the prime god of the Assyrians, also named Ashur. He redid some roads, rebuilt some temples, but soon realized that this ancient city was indeed ancient, and it would just be easier to move the capital to someplace new. And so that's what he did. He moved the Assyrian capital to Kalhu, also known as Nimrud or Kala in the Bible. Now, archaeologists aren't entirely sure why he moved the capital. It's all kind of conjecture, but there was a lot more space in Kalu, so he could really build whatever he wanted.
What is this? Surely this isn't the city, right? Like, it looks so freaking empty.
A new palace that was much better protected.
Oh, wait, is that the palace?
As it could be up a little bit raised
that
on
looks
a
fucking
hill.
huge.
Another reason might have been more political, because in Ashur, in the old capital, there were all of the old guard, his father and grandfather and great-grandfather's people.
Ooh.
In his new capital, it was all his new lackeys who only responded to him. So maybe it was a bit political as well.
Ah, okay, you move closer to the guys that respond to you and not the others.
What we do know is that as well. Nobody really knows. What we do know is that he went all out for this new capital. Over the course of 15 years, he built 9
Tower, temples, Northwest Palace, center. Wait, it's multiple palaces then? Huh.
new temples, new homes and buildings for the people, entertainment spaces like orchards and gardens, and even the first zoo, which included monkeys.
That does not look like a fucking zoo. It looks more like a gladiator space.
New homes and buildings for the people, entertainment spaces like orchards and gardens, and even the first zoo, which included monkeys, ostriches, bulls, and lions. But the grandest of all was his new palace. Now, we don't know the exact size of the palace because only a small portion has been excavated, about 650 by 390 feet. But based on the throne room alone, it was undoubtedly large and lavish. The walls were decorated with limestone bas-relief depicting deities, hunting expeditions.
I do wonder how one does this. Like, like, I mean, I guess it's similar to like sculpting wood or something, or woodworking. Large and in charge, pretty much, yeah.
Bas-relief depicting deities, hunting expeditions, including images of Ashurnazirpal killing lions with his bare hands, and of course his military campaigns, which is fitting since it was the booty taken from those campaigns that built the palace. And it was of course protected by numerous depictions of Lamassu, which was an Assyrian protective deity typically shown.
For some reason, this reminds me a lot of Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Okoko, I think their name was. I don't know why.
Known as a hybrid of a human, a bird, and a lion.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's why. They're like a hybrid of a human and a bird.
Or a bull. The place was plush, and so when it was finally time to unveil it, he did so in grand fashion by throwing a massive 10-day feast for 69,574 guests.
That's so fucking precise. Did they count one by one?
And what's really cool is that they weren't just the really important people, it was pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
In his own court, there were 5,000 high officials and dignitaries from all over the empire and other parts of the world, but then he also invited 74,000 workmen and women who had built the temple and built the entire city, along with the 16,000 inhabitants of that city. The happy people of all the lands, together with the people of Kalu.
That's like when I went to a rodeo show. I think it was a small town of like 5,000 people, but it ballooned to like, I think it was 15,000 during that event, which is ridiculous.
10 days.
I don't know if it was exactly that number, but it was the visitors were bigger than the city, than the town itself.
I feasted, wined, bathed, anointed, and honored them. And
wait, wined? That's a word? I wined them? That's the first time I hear that word. I can imagine what he means by that, but like, is that a word?
And sent them back to their lands in peace and joy. Dinner and a bath. Now that is very classy. What's not very classy is bragging about the feast that you just threw, and that is exactly what he
Wait.
did.
Oh, I mean, I guess.
Ashurnasirpal was...
I mean, if you manage to gather 75,000 people in one place, holy fuck. At least according to me, you kind of earn bragging rights, especially at that time.
Not a humble man. On one stele, he wrote, I am king, I am lord, I am praiseworthy, I am exalted, I am important, I am magnificent,
okay, yeah, okay, that's...
I am foremost, I am a hero, I am a warrior, I am a lion, and I am a man.
No
Sounds
shit.
like one of those daily affirmations that like a finance bro gives himself in the mirror right before he's going in to make a big presentation to kind of hype himself up. Anyway, Ashurnasirpal wanted everyone to know about this huge party that he'd thrown, and so he had a stele created with the entire menu on it. And it was a really, really long menu. I mean, like Cheesecake Factory menu long. And so I'm not going to.
They have big
thing,
menus?
but here are just.
I only eaten to Cheesecake Factory like once or twice when we were in Florida. Because we used to have a condo over there.
Just a few of the highlights. It starts with the meat. 1,000 barley-fed oxen, 1,000 young cattle and sheep from the stalls, 14,000 common sheep from the flocks belonging to Ishtar, my mistress, 2,000 oxen from the herds belonging to Ishtar, my mistress.
Are they all going to belong to Ishtar?
Sheep, 1,000 lambs, 500 deer, 500
Wait, they have gazelles?
1,000 large birds, 500 geese, 500 fowls, 1,000 suki birds, 1,000 karib birds, 10,000 pigeons, 10,000 doves, 10,000 small birds, 10,000 fishes, 10,000 locusts.
Locust?
Those locusts, which were very often served on a skewer, were incredibly popular with the Assyrians at the time and throughout the Middle East for years and years to come. So if I ever come across any edible locusts, I really want to try that. Now that was just the meat. He goes on to talk about 10,000 large loaves of bread.
Yeah, he really likes grasshoppers apparently. Okay.
That was just the meat. He goes on to talk about 10,000 large loaves of bread, heaps of different herbs and spices, tons of vegetables and fruits like pomegranates and dates, and then grains and nuts, and 10,000 measures of beer, 10,000 skins of wine, and 100 measures of
skins?
1,000 measures of beer, 10,000 skins of wine.
Skins? What the hell do they mean by skins? Yeah, it's like, it's very... Skeins? That's the first time I heard that word. What is that? Google says it's yarn. I don't know how that relates to wine. Leather container for liquids. Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
And nuts, and 10,000 measures of beer, 10,000 skins of wine, and 100 measures of fine mixed beer, which might be something like the alap anu, which should be...
Google can be dumb sometimes, yeah.
So after letting the beer ferment for about a week and a half, should be about ready to try.
Ooh.
So after letting the beer ferment for about a week and a half, it had stopped making any more bubbles, and so I served it up. And here we are, alap anu, the pomegranate beer of the Assyrian kings. So murky, yes, but it reminds me a lot of like guava juice. The color.
The what
too.
Juice?
It reminds me a lot of like guava juice. The color too.
What the hell is guava juice? Okay, let me Google again. No, that's something else. Oh, I can see the resemblance a bit. Yeah, I can see the resemblance. Don't know what the heck guava is.
It is kind of brown, but there is a reddish tint to it. I kind of hope that it would be more red, you know, like pomegranate red, but it's not. But there is definitely a reddish tint to it. So let's try it. First, the smell. It's definitely yeasty, like a beer smell. It's kind of like a Hefeweizen, that yeasty smell.
Don't know what a yeasty smell is, but okay.
Surprisingly good. It's not as bitter as I thought it would be.
Ooh.
It's also not sweet. What's interesting is You get the flavor of the honey, and you get the flavor of the pomegranate, but not like the sweetness of either of those, which I guess you don't expect because hopefully the yeast has eaten up all the sugar, or at least most of it. It tastes oddly modern, like the flavors. What it is not at all is effervescent. There are no bubbles. There were
it's not
bubbles during
carbonated?
fermentation, but they have all gone. So it is a completely flat beer. It's a light beer, but it is flat. So that is really where it greatly differs from any modern kind of beer. Another big thing that's different is that because it doesn't have any hops in it, this does not stay good for very long. You can keep it for about a week. Now, if you were to bottle it and if you had made everything perfectly sterile and everything, you could probably keep it for longer in that case. But
Yeah.
as it is, beer would only last for maybe a week at most.
Drinking party!
Sometimes beer would last even less than that. But it's actually quite good. As far as alcohol, I don't know exactly how alcoholic it is.
How alcohol?
It doesn't taste alcoholic. There surely is alcohol in there.
Just drink the entire thing. You'll know if it's alcoholic or not.
The Mesopotamians loved their alcohol, so much so that they had a saying that said, "You should not pass judgment when you drink beer," which is still a wise thing to think today. You shouldn't drink and pass judgment on anyone or anything. But yeah, they did get drunk. Just probably took a lot more, but their wine was also really strong. Anyway, yeah, it's not hard. It takes 2 weeks to make. But if you buy your malted barley, then it's actually really, really easy. And you can play with the amounts of dates and honey and pomegranates and everything, but I gotta say, the way that I did it, I think it turned out pretty good.
Nice.
I could drink a decent amount of this. Cheers. So yeah, make some pomegranate beer and...
Oh yeah, that is really new. I plan to watch it at some point.
I will see you next time on Tasting History.
Nice. Okay, now let's not get jump scared by another Max Miller report thing. But yeah, this was good. I liked it. Very, very nice.